What's up, everybody? Thanks again for stopping by for another edition of March 4th with Mike Bauman. I, of course, am your host, Mike Bauman. Whoever you are, wherever you are listening from, thank you so much for checking out the podcast. If you're a returning listener, I greatly appreciate your continued love and support. And if you're a brand new listener of the show, man, thank you so much for hopping aboard that pirate ship. You can follow me on Instagram at March 4th Pod. You can also follow me on YouTube and TikTok at March 4th Pod. The links to all of my stuff are in the podcast description for this episode. So that means if you made it here, then you found me somehow. And I truly appreciate each and every one of you taking the time to check out another edition of the March 4th with Mike Bauman podcast. How is everybody doing, man? I hope as this is hitting your eardrums that life finds you well. And if not, if you're going through some struggles right now, just hang in there. Don't quit. Don't quit on yourself. Don't quit on your dreams. Know how much that you are loved, you are worthy, you are worth it. You have a purpose in this life. I promise you. Some of us, it takes a little bit longer to discover than others. But at the end of the day, man, life is a beautiful journey unfolding every single minute of every single day. So don't quit. It gets better. Trust me, as a dude who had a couple of rocky years in the not so distant past, I made it through it thanks to close family and friends, thanks to therapy, thanks to working on myself in terms of physically, mentally, spiritually, man. I really tried to rebuild myself from the ground up. And I'm somebody that struggles with anxiety. Sometimes it's obsessive compulsive tendencies. Sometimes it's intrusive thoughts. Sometimes it's beating myself up and being too hard on myself, much like how I re-record the intro and close to these shows numerous times because I'm a perfectionist. I digress, but I'm in a much better place, both headspace wise and just overall than where I was a few years ago. So these aren't just empty calories that I'm preaching to all of y'all, man. I definitely don't have it all figured out. And I'm not a doctor. This is a podcast for entertainment purposes at the end of the day. But if you are struggling out there, just know that you're not alone. You are loved more than you think. You are worth more than you think, man. And that is somebody who has lived it. There's always going to be a balance of darkness and light in the universe. That's just the way it goes. There's always a balance, man. And that means inevitably that there's going to be things that you walk through in life that are going to be tough that are going to hit you on the chin, and sometimes are going to be a curveball that you didn't see coming, whether it's heartbreak, deaths of people close to you, whether they're young or they're old. There's never a good time to die. That's difficult, even though death is part of life. Things that happen in your job, things that happen in your family, with your friends, personal relationships. And it's inevitable that as we age, life tends to get busier and more difficult, compared to when you're a 7-year-old kid riding your bike in the summer, right? Many of you listening to this, like me, if you're young adults, whether you're in your late 20s, mid to late 30s, you might have kids, you might have spouses, you might be going through a divorce, you might be going through a breakup, you might have another kid on the way, you might be going through job changes, you have bills, you have debt, you have car payments, house payments, all that stuff, things that fall apart that need to get fixed. Life inevitably gets busy, and gets busier as we age, but that doesn't mean that you got to take some time to slow down, take some deep breaths, take some stock in where you are and go, okay, if there's things that I'm unhappy with, ask yourself 2 questions. What power do I have to change it? And if I do have power to change it, what steps am I going to take to change it? And those are things that have really helped me in my life. Also, something my mom's articulated to me, which is, before you say or do anything, ask yourself the question, what good can come from this? That'll save you a lot of trouble too, trust me. But yeah, man, if you're struggling right now, take it from me with a grain of salt. And there's going to be maybe some new listeners listen to this podcast. If this week's guest puts you on to me, it does get better, and you are loved and worth it, man. So don't quit. Keep moving forward. That's what the theme of this show is, March 4th, perseverance, moving forward, and finding those things that you love and staying in touch with them, whether they're activities, hobbies, and or people. Those things that make you feel connected in a positive way to life and the world around you. For me, this podcast has been one of those outlets creatively that I love, and it's connected me with a lot of really awesome people. In addition to helping me discover new music and being able to geek out about something that I love in music, which is one of my life loves. I wouldn't. It's a life's blood. I wouldn't be able to live without music. In addition to that, it's also connected me to some really really awesome people out here. And speaking of connected me with awesome people, this week's guest is truly an embodiment of what this show is all about: perseverance, moving forward, March 4th. She's got a heck of a voice. She is hilarious, and she's a trooper. She is none other than Ali Slater. Ali is a California-based singer-songwriter, and she makes music primarily in the pop punk and emo veins. So if that stuff is in your wheelhouse, you will definitely love this episode. And she is somebody that has been gracious enough to make an appearance on this podcast multiple times. This is going to be her third appearance on the show. And that goes back to what I was just saying, a few moments ago about connecting with awesome people. Hallie and I first got connected on Instagram back in 2022 when her EP Lucid was coming out. And I can't remember, and I think I even bring it up in the conversation, whether or not it was an ad I had seen or just through my love of music. I see like every sponsored post by every artist coming out because I'm such a geek for this stuff. I love it. But I digress. But anyway, we got connected on IG, and she came on here back in 2022 when Lucid was coming out. In fact, I think I talked to her on like the eve of her birthday that year. It was like early April. And yeah, we geeked out not only about her music and making the music videos that she had put out at that point for songs off the EP, but we also got into her journey just as a woman and as a human, including some darker things that she had been through in her life that she was working through, and how music is very intertwined with those things and that part of herself. And then she came back on the show. I think it was late 2023. Um, she did an awesome cover. It was Hillary Duff, I believe, was that release when I got her back on in late 2023. And I've continued to keep up with her journey. And since the last time she's been on here, she's really developed a big audience on TikTok. I know that she says in this interview, I wouldn't call it blowing up, but to me, it's blowing up. I think it's really cool to have the following that she does. But in addition to her music, she's also gotten into streaming and is a big gamer and does a lot of streaming. And so she's really kind of cultivating not only her music, but also the streaming audience with gaming. And the reason I wanted to get her back on is really over the last little less than a year, she's been very busy, especially with music, in addition to her streaming on TikTok. In October of 2024, she released Fire Away. Then she came out with My Villain at the beginning of January of this year. She followed that up in April with a cover of That's the Way It Is from Celine Dion. A week later, she released another original track called Round the Ring. And then just this past June, right about 2 months ago, as this episode's coming out, she released a cover of Love the Way You Lie Part 2 from Eminem and Rhianna. And what's cool about not only those original tracks that she put out and the covers that she put out, but they're all part of what she calls the Ali verse. And she's done awesome music videos for all of them. They really kind of take you on a trip. They're very well done. And we get into the Ali verse and how that ties in with her mental health journey as somebody who is diagnosed bipolar 2. And she's very open in this conversation about how the music is intertwined with that, how the story is very intentional, how the music videos and the lyrics and the songs, the original songs that she's done, are very intentional, and how it all ties together. And the alter egos that she has exercised, if you will, through her music, and has found a creative and healthy outlet through her music to be able to explore those parts of herself and those darker parts of herself. The alter egos being Princess Ali, Miseria, and Hallie. So it was an awesome conversation. She's been very busy, and I really appreciate her making the time for me. And as we get into this conversation, being a California resident, she was in the throes of all of what had happened earlier this year with the fires and whatnot. And even though she ended up being okay, she had a tough start to the year between the fires, the loss of her dog, and so I really appreciated her circling back with me in the midst of all of that and all of this new music and her streaming, to make time for me to come back on the show and catch up with me and explore these topics a little bit more deeper. So without further ado, I'm going to shut my big yapper and give you guys my conversation with Ali Slater. Here it is. All righty, there we go. Well, Ali, it's always great talking with you. It's been about a year and a half, and you've
That's
been very
crazy.
busy. It's been an eventful year in some bad ways, but mostly good ways, I hope. So I'm glad we're able to get you back on.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me. It's crazy that it's been a year and a half. Time flies when you're having a time.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to talk to you again. You've been really busy, and I feel like the last time you were on, in some ways, this is almost like a part two, even though this is your third time on the show. Because the first
Mm.
time was when Lucid came out. That was like 3 years ago now.
Wow.
Um,
Yeah.
and then it was like I think it was late 23 the last time you were on here, and that's when we were talking about the alter egos and the videos that you were starting to put out. And then we were trying, just to give people background, to make this happen earlier this year, but there were life events that happened. Obviously, there were
Yeah.
devastating fires, personal losses. So I genuinely appreciate you taking the time to come on. But just as a place to start, how are you doing? Like halfway through the year, I know it's been a bit of a roller coaster, but how are you doing today? You doing all right?
Um, today is the first day I've felt okay in a while. I mean, I know this podcast has to do a lot with mental health, and I've been going through a lot of just transitions in my new I'm in a very transitional period. I'm doing medicine adjustments. My dog just passed. There were fires. There's just been so much, but I mean, I'm a fighter. I don't give up. Even through all this, I've still been putting out music and shooting my music videos and streaming and doing everything. But to answer your question that has nothing to do with what I just said, I'm okay. I'm doing all right.
Only
How are
only the strong
you?
survive, as they say. Yeah. I'm doing. You know what I mean? I just it's weird times in the world, but there's still good people like you out there. There's a lot of good people
Hmm.
out there. So this
Yeah.
show has been like a good way for me to connect with people outside of like the chaos or just like stuff that happens at work or whatever. But again, I know we
Yeah.
talked a little bit about it before the jump, but I am sorry for the loss of your dog. I know how close you
Oh,
were.
thank you.
Um,
Yeah.
and we both still have our past pets as our lock screens on our phones. So we're real ones. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I've just from a distance, man, it's been cool. Like I feel like you got in on TikTok like we were talking about, and I feel like that's a good place to start. In addition to the music,
Sure.
you've been blowing up on streaming. Like, was that a happy accident? Was it intentional? I mean, I know you do marketing and stuff and social media and work with
Yeah.
other artists and people on that, so you're no stranger to that. And I don't want to be dismissive of that, but like, can you talk to
No,
me a
not
little
at
bit
all.
about this streaming stuff? Because I don't feel like the last couple of times we talked about that, and just watching your
No.
journey, you've really been blowing up on TikTok, man.
I think blowing up is very generous. But I've definitely started to grow on the platform. TikTok is, God, we have such a love-hate relationship. It has done such wonders for myself and my career. And the plan on there was to stream, just to get my music out there, grow the platform. I started streaming on Twitch in at the very end of 2023, beginning of 2024, and I brought those gaming streams from Twitch to TikTok. And that's when I started to really gain a presence on there. It wasn't really through gaming, it was kind of through like a very gimmicky rating your profile pictures style live. And I didn't want to do it, I didn't want to sell out, but like that's what got me the traction. Like everyone wants to hear what a pretty girl has to say about her profile picture. I'm like, but I sing, but but listen to my music too. Um, that's really, unfortunately, what contributed to my gain in a following. It's just kind of how social media works. Like, it's not really a ton of substance when you want it to be. Um, you just kind of gotta do what you gotta do to get your stuff out there, you know? I'm honestly debating doing it again because there has been such a lull in the algorithm since the ban back in January. Everything's changed. Also, I've had those imposter accounts pop up who've been recording my Rate Your Profile picture live streams and have just been playing them 24/7 using my face, and people on the internet, are they're not doctors. They're not, scientists. They're not really picking up that it's not me, even if I'm in the chat being like, it's me. Don't send this person money. Send me money. So, it's just the internet. The internet's crazy. However, I will say it has brought those people to my page, and I do have more eyes and ears on my music now, which is great. Like tonight, I just set up my equipment. I don't know if you can see back there, that's my sound booth over there. I'm gonna start singing in there and doing singing streams. Um, just there's Everything is so unstable right now on the internet. Like you said, we don't know if it's still going to be here. It will be, no matter what. But just with the way TikTok is prioritizing certain creators, and it's all about money at the end of the day. And if you're not making money, they're not pushing you. And if they're not pushing you, you're not making money. So it's a very toxic cycle that I think all of we streamers are trying to navigate right now. Whether that's jumping to different apps, or not, it's very complex. TikTok, you see a lot of people see the videos and they scroll through their For You pages, and that's the side of TikTok they see. But the live streaming side of TikTok, it's a business, and there's a lot that goes in to behind the scenes there that most people wouldn't even like think of. It's crazy. But I will say it's been really good for networking and meeting people in LA, going to events. I was invited kind of to VidCon meetups, and it's overall been very beneficial to my career, super detrimental to my mental health. But what are you gonna do? Can't win them all.
Yeah, it is wild, man. Like I say it a lot because it is true, and it's also because I'm like way too hard on myself, and I'm always like, man, I got to do more. And that's the trouble with the internet too, is like
Yeah.
this comparison game. It's like all those quotes are so true, and they're true for a reason. Like way before TikTok, way before Instagram or social media, where it's like comparison is the thief of joy, and like don't compare there's always failure in comparison. But I'm also like, yeah, but I am kind of sitting on these clips, and like I know the video, like my old computer wasn't like great and it's kind of grainy, but I'm like, maybe if I bust some of that stuff out, it would be like kind of cool in a way, because people are putting like old school filters on stuff anyway. But so I'm kind of trying to like watch like some of the shows that I like, and what they're doing, and that's why I started doing video stuff last year. But it was cool to kind of see you blown up. And like you said, I mean, I can see how you're like, it kind of sucks that it was like rating people's profiles, but then again, sometimes you got to do stuff. Like I did a couple recently where I had an episode shout out with Wes. He has the same name as a very famous director, Wes Anderson. So his stuff is songs by Wes, and I think there's actually been like Wes Anderson fans who have found his stuff. But in the conversation that we had, we were talking about some bigger bands that we like Slipknot and Seven Dust, and Turnstile's been blowing up, and he was at that Baltimore show because he lives there. And at the end of the episode, because he does marketing and stuff, he was like, "Dude, you should honestly, when you put out some shorts and reels and stuff, he's like, you should do the Slipknot one when I was talking about that album, because I feel like that would like get some traction." And then it did, and I was like, "Oh my God," you know what I mean? And it sounds like simple to say, but so I don't know. I'm trying to reach people with like positive stuff, man, not to sound like cheesy, but there's like so much awful stuff out there. I'm like, I just want to find people who like dig finding newer artists, or maybe artists who are on the come up that they haven't totally discovered, or they like conversations about mental health. I don't know, maybe I'm too altruistic for this ish, Ali, but like I'm trying, I'm hoping that like people will gravitate towards that, because I don't want to be like, I don't want to take like a negative route, you know what I mean?
Right.
But
I think
yeah,
in
I don't
times
know.
like these, people need a source of optimism and altruism. I mean, I don't want to go into it because that's not what my platform is about. I mean, once I get there, I'm happy to talk about my views. But it's been known to TikTok doesn't like whatever. In times like these, you really need to find outlets where you're channeling positive energy. That's why I've been saying this. I don't know if I said this the last few times I was here, but people thrive on nostalgia, and that's why I'm doing these throwback covers because it really brings people back to like I at least when I thought music was like pretty bomb. I don't shit on anyone else's music, but like I miss a lot of the music that I'm covering. And stylistically like that, I've obviously made it my own because I'm doing like pop goes punk, but I'm a slut for pop music. I do. I love pop music and like a catchy melody. There's a reason it's so successful and why that's the genre that's always in the spotlight. It's really good. But I think it's amazing that you're providing a positive source for people to come to in the darkest of times, you know? I think it's so important. And that's what I try to do in my live streams too. My music isn't necessarily like blue skies and rainbows and sunshine because I can't write that just yet. I write what I know and what I feel and my experiences, and we haven't quite gotten to rainbows and sunshine yet. Um, but in that like negativity, I hope that brings people comfort, if that makes any sense. So I hope that I can provide the positivity that you provide people through a sense of comfort. So I love what you do with your platform. I do.
Well, thank you for such kind words. You're making me blush, man, for real. I appreciate it. Because you did my show like 3 years ago. I'm
Yeah.
trying to think. I can't remember if I saw an ad that you did on Instagram or you just popped up in the algorithm because I'm like anytime there's like new artists or music that pop up and I saw your stuff and I listened to that first song and I was like, damn, she can really sing. This is awesome. The video was great. Um, and you did it at a time when I mean, not that I've like grown a ton since then, but it's a bigger now than it was certainly 3 years ago. So I appreciate you
Yeah.
being on from Jump Street. So thank you.
Oh my God, of course.
It's
I'll
always great.
always come back.
Well, thank you. Thank you. I'm and you teased it a little bit just now, so let's get into it with the alley verse that you've been doing. And we talked a little bit about it
Yeah.
the last time you were on, but I think it's really cool because you've been doing the covers. So you did That's the Way It Is. Shout out Celine. Love the Way You Lie
Yeah.
Part Two. Shout out Riri and Eminem.
Mm.
And you made your own twist to it. And then I love the originals too. I feel like Round the Ring, there's like your
Yeah.
vocal pattern in that. I feel like you could do you could almost do, I mean, it's kind of dancey anyway, but it gave me like, I feel like you could do like a dance remix to that almost. Like I hadn't heard that
It's
side of your
almost like
voice
you know
before.
what's coming. It's almost
Uh,
like you know what genres I'm about to start incorporating into the new stuff. Yeah, I mean, I'm happy you're asking about the whole Alleyverse thing and because I don't think I've ever addressed it. Like I've addressed it in certain live streams, but exactly what I'm doing with the original music and the covers, it's all very intentional and there is a story behind it. So, um, the story of the Alleyverse starts part one with my original Fire Away, where you come in and you see Princess Allie. She's in the castle with this guy. They're gonna be married and live happily ever after. And then all of a sudden, oh no, he's a murderer. This is all a metaphor, by the way, in case no one picked up on it. So he ends up murdering Princess Allie. Huge deception, huge twist. And then at the end of the video, you see she dies, but Missy or Miseria is born. Like she wakes up, and that's the story of how Missy is born. And then we go on to part two, which is the original My Villain. And you get to see Missy kind of wake up from like, what the hell was that? Who am I? Where am I? She's going through her mansion. She's reliving traumas of past relationships, just trying to find her footing in this new weird dimension that she's in. I've been referring to it as the further, like from Insidious, like just this plane of existence where everything's kind of fucked. And she's just reliving her trauma and trying to find out where she is, get her footing, what's happening. And she just encounters three different horrible traumatic relationships. She's like, "Oh my God, I can't believe I like you're here." And "Oh no, you're here." And at the end of the video, she makes it out. She breaks free. She escapes her former abusers. And then we she gets out of the house, she sees something. There's some sort of light at the end of the tunnel, and that's the cliffhanger of that. Then we get to Round the Ring, the third original, and you see what she was seeing was this circus, this just random circus in the middle of nowhere. Um, and you meet Hallie, this haunted ringmaster, um, who takes you on a tour through a circus. And that's kind of where we are in the story. That was like a very crazy brief overview of the story, but that's kind of where we are right now. It's to tell the story of the three current sides of me, and everything that I've been through, all the messages that I want to bring to, I don't want to say my fans, but like the people who support me and listen to me and love what I do. And even the people who don't know who I am yet, because I think I have a lot to say that would resonate with a lot of people. So that's kind of where we are right now. The covers I've been releasing along with the originals, and they're also pretty intentional. So the first cover I released was Come Clean, but that was back in 2023, just to like keep the momentum going. But I released when I released first. That's the Way It Is. I released with Round the Ring. Um, that was fun. I did two music videos in 4 hours. So we did a cover and we did the Round the Ring video. I released those kind of side by side. I released Love the Way You Lie Part 2. I was going to release it with the next song coming out, but there was a fire or two, and then my dog died, and then there was a power outage, and I've been dealing with health stuff, some budgeting issues. So there are more songs coming out, I promise. Just life be life. Um, so did we go into who Hallie, Missy, Princess Allie were the last time I was here? Do I need to do some more explaining?
We scratched the surface of it, and I appreciate that breakdown. Just in case there's new people aboard the pirate ship, as I like to say with this
Yeah.
podcast. But yeah, I with like the mental health piece of it, I think it would be cool if you could talk about that. Just because, again, just with the theme of the show being March 4th, I think it's sometimes these places I know can be triggering for some people just as like a preface
Mhm.
for the stuff we get into, but at the same time I think what's cool about your story genuinely is music is obviously a very powerful force, and it's been a very powerful force
Mhm.
in your life, and I think translating darkness into positivity or light is like a really beautiful thing. And it's one of the reasons I
Yeah.
love like heavy music so much and I love darker stuff so much. Even though I like to like get along with people and joke around with people, like I'm attracted to like I like horror movies and like heavy music, like that's the way yeah, that's the way you exercise it. You know what I mean?
See my background?
I know. It's
Yeah.
so awesome. It's so awesome. But like The Lost Boys is one of my favorite movies ever. I might watch
Yeah.
that later tonight. But anyway, so yeah, I think it'd be cool to get
Break it
into.
down.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool if we break it down.
Yeah, so I'm Ali Slater. That's me. I would say I'm made up of a bunch of different people, but I made it simple and I split it into three personas. Um, I'm diagnosed bipolar 2. So that's more so I'm sad a lot of the time versus I'm manic. So I'll have spouts of depression triggered by could be anything, but mostly lack of sleep. That's usually what gets me. If I'm not sleeping, I'm not taking care of myself, it'll be like 2 weeks. I'm super depressed and I just need to get through it. Anyways, I kind of split myself into three different personas. The original one being this goth princess Allie, who I see myself as every day. And um but once you break down who she really is, you see that there is this goddess energy to her that's very serious, very not stoic, but she'll tease you, but she's very much like this. You don't mess with her. But she's nice. She's nice. She matches energy, you know? She's a goddess. And then there's Hallie, this ringmaster who's so unhinged, but in the most endearing way. You know, Hallie is short for hallucination, which is kind of one of the uppers of mental health. So each of these characters represent the different facets of my own mental health. So Princess Ali, figurehead, she's the face. And then once she was killed or deconstructed, Missy was born. The depressive side of me kind of showed her face. She's just kind of trying to figure out what the hell happened and come into her own as this goddess of, yeah, Miseria. It's the goddess of misery, depression, grief, lethargy, you know. So that's who Missy is, and Hallie is that kind of unhinged, manic ringmaster clown. Um, I think the best way to deal with, at least the best way that I can deal with the stuff that I go through, I love horror movies. I love fantasy movies. I love the whimsical, the theatrical. Um, so I just took my shit and made it fun. You know? I I don't think there are any limits when it comes to art. There might be some. Don't quote me on that. But I think what I enjoy most about this is I created a whole world, this whole universe, the Alleyverse, where I put my pain into it and it's become something so beautiful. And I'm able to kind of heal myself through that. Not 100%, don't get me wrong. Like your girl is currently going through it. Like I currently going through medicine changes because I was in a serious depression a couple months ago. No, that's a lie, a couple weeks ago. But it's been for a long time. I've lost all motivation. I almost gave up. I'm like, I don't love this anymore. I don't love anything. I'm gonna be alone, not because I can be with like I just want to be alone. I don't want to do anything. I hit rock bottom depression. And then a couple weeks ago, my psychiatrist started me on this antidepressant, and it completely backfired this last week. So I think that was part of why I was sick. Like I was throwing up, like I was not okay. I couldn't sleep. I had an adverse effect of an antidepressant, and I'm detoxing from it right now. I stopped taking it yesterday. Um, so while there is a lot of shit that I go through, um, I've found the most healing thing that I can do is to channel it into this whole other universe. And I think why I have the supporters I do is because they're interested in the same things. You know, they like taking the mundane and the painful and putting it into this just whimsical world. Like when you think like when I was thinking about what I want to do with things, I'm like, I can do whatever I want, really. Right now, it's my brand. I can do whatever. And this is what I want to do. It's fun. It's colorful. I can be whoever I want to be. Like that girl over there, that's before any of the Alleyverse was born. She didn't know what the hell she was doing. She could just sing and had a dream, you know? Um, just to see the evolution of her brown hair, old nose, you know, like just didn't know what she was doing to where we are now it's mind blowing to me. I don't remember what the question was. I kind of just went like this. Oh, mental health. It's all intertwined. It's all part of it.
No,
Yeah.
I appreciate you breaking that down. No, you're good. You're good.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. If you're gonna finish that, I didn't mean to step on.
No, that was pretty much it. I could ramble on and on if you wanted me to, but I'll stop there.
You can. We can talk for like 5 hours. It's cool, but I'm not gonna hijack your night. And the streaming you're about to do. But no, I think it's this is why I love talking with you because I feel like you're very honest about you know translating this stuff and if there's one positive I think in like the modern kind of world that we live in is there are a lot more people talking about mental health, and the way that I look at it is it's like it's just about being open and being vulnerable and it is so freaking hard to do. Like the way that I look at mental health is it's like everybody goes through struggles and obviously some people have a clinical diagnosis or some people just have struggles and they don't know what they are. Like when I was a boy, I didn't know what that panic attack was. I just knew how horrible it felt. I just wanted to like run and get the hell out of there. And then when I got sick, like I would get like to the point where I get physically, I'd vomit and you're just like, this is terrifying. And so to me, I look at it like it's about being open and it's about being vulnerable and letting people know that they're not alone. um I think that's the most important thing, and understanding that empathy and openness and vulnerability. These are not weak things. Male, female, trans, however you identify, like it's important. There's so many people who take themselves out, or their time ends before it should. And so I think having being able to use your platform to discuss these things and be open about them, and translating in an entertaining way. It's music is obviously an incredibly powerful tool. And so no, I think it's really dope that you're doing that. Because a lot of people are afraid to talk about it, and I feel like bipolar especially. I feel like there's a stigma already with like mental health, but I feel like with bipolar, and I'm glad you broke down the kind that you have. People assume it's one thing because they don't know. They think it's like, oh, this person is here and then they're here, and it's like, no, it's not really like that, for everybody, and there's different variations. So anyway, I'm kind of ranting now, but I think it's cool that you've translated it into a universe. And I want to shout out Astro Media and Zach Perez, Eric Emery, all these awesome people you're working with because and just the nerd in me, I wanted to know too, for me and the people, where did you shoot these? Because the music videos are really awesome. And I'm not just saying that, like genuinely, when I watch it, especially as a fan of like horror movies and like fantasy stuff myself, I'm like, you're really in like another world in these things. You know what I mean? That Fire Away video, it's literally like a princess type setup. And then Round the Ring was like, it almost looked like movie theater esque. It was almost like if I had a dream and I was in like a movie theater slash like haunted house, but I like wasn't afraid. You know what I mean? Like it had like a cool vibe. I don't even know if I'm making sense, but the
Yeah, no, it does. It was supposed to be like a fever dream, which is, I think, what it did. I think I did it. So this video is Fire Away in the background here. I for each of these videos, the amount of time I put in to just getting every little detail right is something that I'm proud of, and that doesn't really get talked about, and I don't think ever will, but I'm happy we're talking about it now. Scouted. I went through so many different locations. This first one, I'm like, I need to be a princess in a castle, but I'm not trying to spend $1,000 an hour on a castle. I need to be Princess Allie on a budget, but not looking like Princess Allie on a budget, you know? Um, so I just happened to be I had found, Pure Space? Do you know what that is? It's essentially like Airbnb, but for like video shoots and photo shoots in LA. It's called Pure Space. You can rent out different locations for different events. It doesn't even just need to be music videos or photos, it can be events. So I found we shot this video back here in two locations, a Pure Space, and then I just happened to be driving around California, Los Angeles, just looking for just we were just driving, and I stumbled across Pasadena City Hall. And I'm like, this is literally royalty. Who lived here? What is this place? And it's just City Hall. It's literally just Pasadena City Hall. So we spent half the day at City Hall running around. It is gorgeous there. It is one of my favorite places in LA because it is like a castle. Like that's in City Hall. That is the Pier Space. So that Pier Space, that's with the throne, then the dungeon room running through the halls, the smaller areas, the smaller darker areas, that's the Pier Space. And it actually is the same one that Chrissy Costanza used in one of her videos from Against the Current. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, is this the same spot? Guys, Chrissy was here. Chrissy sat here. So I forget what video it was for. It was for one of her solo things. I don't remember. But fun fact, Chrissy Costanza used my peer space for her videos too. Anyways, so Pasadena City Hall and a Pier Space for Fire Away. For my villain, also another Pier Space. And just found a place, it's essentially like Airbnb, right? So I just rented someone's home for the mansion. Very, very, very small mansion. Um, yeah, that was just someone's home for the second one. And for Round the Ring, that was an escape room. And then that's the way it is. So that's Missy coming out. There's the carousel. We see she finds the circus. Yeah, it's an escape room. It's a horror themed circus escape room. It was so fun to film there because like we were kind of doing the escape room too with the answers. I'm like, can you let me in there? I need to go film in there. Can you just like pull the book in the bookcase, like, or just tell me how to do it? Because we need to get that shot back in there. Ticket booth is closed. It was fun. It was really fun. Um, it was this phone booth, and it was smaller than I think any set you go on to is smaller than you think, you know? Like it seems bigger. Everything's super tiny. Very small space, but very fun. I only have two or three other people on set with me when I shoot videos. So it wasn't too crazy. But yeah, that's an escape room. We had a lot of fun.
Yeah, it turned out awesome. Like I gotta imagine just like the horror nerd in you is like super excited to do this kind of stuff because like the
Oh
horror nerd
yeah.
in me like watching it, I'm like, this is sick, man. Because I feel like with especially it was cool to hear you break it down. And you put it in even in like the videos, like for I feel like for the real like music nerds who are getting into it and like want to pay attention and read the captions, like
Mhm.
you put it all in there
Everything
for
is
people.
intentional.
Yeah, yeah. So
Everything is intentional.
yeah, and
Um,
it's cool. It's cool to see how it turned out.
Like in the My Villain music video, this is the perfect time to talk about it. The My Villain music video, each of the men um is represented by a Disney villain, actually. And there are different Easter eggs within the music video where you can determine which Disney villain they are. Like there are playing cards, there are little props that kind of signify who each guy actually is and represents. I can give you the answers if you want, but like there are little things you can look out for in the My Villain video. Um, I have some BTS B-roll that I have like all the answers in that I'm gonna post soon, but everything I do is super intentional. There is not one mistake. If there's a mistake, it's very hard to spot.
Do you storyboard? And thanks again so much, Allie, for taking the time. Honestly, always love talking
Oh my
with
God,
you.
of course.
Do you like storyboard this out the way that like even films will do you write it, do you write it out, journal it, short story, like because I can imagine it like all going on in your head how you want it to come out, and it turned out great, so I'm curious about
Thank you.
that as far as the you mentioned the intentionality of it, but how the process of actually putting that together with Zach and Astro Media and stuff, the way it comes out.
Yeah, so it all starts with me, obviously, and whoever I decide to bring onto the project. Zach has been amazing in bringing this project to life. He's my videographer and he's done everything with me. He's shot every single one of my music videos except for Kiss in the Rain years ago. Um, So how I have the whole album written out. I have the story. I have all the songs done and kind of the I have the story done and how I want everything to go. I know how everything resolves. I know all the secrets and stuff. Obviously, it's my story. Um and it comes with each song. Um and there are a lot of moving parts, obviously. There are at least three different characters for me alone. So my focus is always storytelling and what is going to make the most sense and what is going to resonate the most with people. And not just with people, but with myself. Like I want to stay true to my story along with it. So it has changed over the last few years. This isn't like originally how the story was going to go. There weren't even three characters. Like this is just how my music and my story is evolving with me as I live my life. Also, as a musician, you kind of have to roll with the punches of budgeting and timing, and this producer only has this amount of time, or my videographer Zach can only fit this amount of time into this, and we can't afford a castle, you know? So you kind of got to roll with the punches, but I have just kind of like a general timeline and storyline in my own head of what's happening. And then I break it down by song, and I'm a Pinterest slut. For this at least, I mood board everything. Here's the aesthetic of it. Like, this is the type of mood lighting that I want for it. This is the story I want to tell with it. How many scenes do we have? How many people do we actually have in this? Do I need co-stars? Do I need all these extra people for this? What is the environment? So that, like, as soon as I lock down the vibe on Pinterest, I'll go onto Peerspace and be like, okay, this is kind of what I need. oh my God, okay, it's gonna be like an extra 1,000 to get this. Okay, maybe we change the story a little bit, you know? Um, but it's very much that. It's an organized mess. It's what I call jazz. My process is jazz. You know, it's I have a general idea of where this is going. I know what the story is. It's just how, as a small artist, can I execute it properly, you know, and still have it turn out phenomenally with all the intention and all the bells and whistles and making it whimsical, but make it make sense at the same time. So know the story. I have the story. Start to mood board song by song, and if things change, they change. Like I've removed songs, I've added in songs from this current cadence. Like I have a whole arsenal of things just kind of waiting to be released. But because, you know, small artist, small budget, small timeline, you know, it just things always change. But there there is a story, and I really do think people are gonna love it. Like we're just kind of setting the stage right now, setting the scene. The I cannot wait for the grand finale. That I'm like gonna invest everything into because it's gonna be so cool. I'm so funny. Just letting you know ahead of time. It's gonna be so good. Yeah, so that's my process. Stories, know the story, mood board, and then really go song by song, execute each of the details. Track down a location, make sure I have all the right people involved, lock it in well in advance, um, if I can. Sometimes it is last minute, but that's just the plight of the music industry or just being an artist in any sort of art form. It's a mess.
Well, I feel like little girl Allie would be proud, the one that was playing the piano to like Vanessa Carlton, right? So what's that story like or that quote and shout out Wes, he said that the last time he was on. He was like, "Man, I'm just the only people I care about opinion wise are like 8-year-old me and 80-year-old me. Those are the only two dudes I'm like trying
That's
to make happy."
amazing.
So it's
That's
cool to think like that
amazing.
way, right? Like if you think back to
Yeah.
when you were a little girl, like with Disney and like when you started out playing, was it your grandma's? Was am I remembering that right? Vanessa
Yeah.
Carlton playing the piano, like she'd be stoked right now.
Yeah, she would be. I've healed so much. Like that poor little girl she went through so much. Um, I only started loving myself recently. Like too recent to be proud of, you know? I'm 29 now. I only started loving myself within the last year or two. That little girl was so sad. She was so sad always. And like I didn't know that wasn't normal growing up. I was just a sad kid. And I fell in love with music the second I heard it, you know? And all I wanted was to be a musician, to be an artist, and not even like for fame, but I mean the whole fame reason, this is what pisses me off about. Oh, you just want to be famous. The only reason I go for fame is because it would help me sustain life as an artist. All I want to do is be a musician, and that's it. And that's really the only way you get to do that is if you have the fame. The fortune comes with the fame. You know, I could care less about the fame and notoriety. I just want to be able to do what I love and help as many people as I possibly can. And little me knowing that I'm doing my best to do it, I think she would be so happy. Like, I want to give her the biggest hug in the world because she hates herself so much and she has absolutely no reason to. Um, and not enough people tell her to love herself. And I wish I could go back in time and give her the biggest hug and tell her how beautiful and wonderful and talented she is. Because so many people tell her that she's not. And you're right. I care deeply about what she has to say, and I think she'd be so excited to be in my presence, you know? Like I that's such a good point to bring up. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Well, shout out Wes too for reminding me of that, man. Because yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes on these journeys, man, like you gotta, and I think what you said too, Allie, like loving yourself, it is important, you know, because in order to be able to like give off that energy, you have to feel that way about yourself. And even though it's good to be productive and it's good to have goals and to have dreams and to have a standard for yourself, you also have to be forgiving of yourself, and you also have to love yourself. Like I struggled with that for a long time too. Like just irrational guilt about stupid stuff, or like beating myself up about the anxieties that I have, or like, like OCD tendencies. Like I'll be checking my car, or like I'll lock my door and like check my door when I leave my apartment, like with little stuff, and you're just
Yeah.
like, but it's also like one of those things where it's like everybody goes through varying degrees of things, and I don't know, man. Like I'm glad people are talking about it. I'm glad people like you are talking about it. One of my old buddies from high school, shout out Ray, passed away right at the beginning of the year.
Oh
And
God,
there
I'm
was some
so
stuff
sorry
going
to hear
on,
about
like,
that.
oh, thanks. I appreciate it, and he was like such a good guy, and you don't know what people are going through, and I didn't know the severity of the things that he was going through, and sometimes it's hard to reach people. You know what I mean? And so
Yeah.
I so like doing this, I don't even mean it, and like, and again, this is part of me with my guilty conscience. I always preface
Yeah.
everything with like anxious attachment style. Would recommend everybody
Yeah.
learning about attachment style. I am not a doctor.
Uh,
This is an entertainment podcast, but
right, right, right. Of
it was
course.
helpful for me to learn about that stuff. But anyway, like um it's important to talk about stuff, because I just feel like there'd be a lot more people that would still be here if they felt like they could, or if they felt like they could do it without judgment. So one thing I
Yeah.
wanted to ask you, not to put you in the position of being prescriptive to anybody, because obviously
Mhm.
we're not doctors, right? And we're going through our,
Right.
but the stuff that's
Definitely.
worked for you, and again, we can get as deep or as shallow as you want to get, because I don't want you to take you to any places that make you uncomfortable, especially as
Oh,
you're
I'm
healing.
happy to talk about anything. I'm
But
good.
what I guess what would help you, or what are things that have helped you kind of love yourself more, or helped you heal from the traumatic things that you've experienced, that you wish you knew sooner when you were really in the thick of it, that you feel like would be helpful for somebody out there?
Wow. Um, that's so hard because my journey, it came with time. It wasn't like I don't think I could have just given myself I don't think like in high school I could have just me now said to myself, "No, don't worry, like you're beautiful. Like you're really pretty, you're really talented, like you're fine, don't worry." I would have still been like, "Fuck you, I'm gonna kill myself." That was my mindset in high school. I don't know who you are, I don't believe you, I hate myself. So all the healing that I did came over time and recognizing that the treatment that I got from other people was undeserved because I truly am to my core a good person with good values. And I will fight for people with similar values, till the day I die. And that's not, I started looking around and being like, oh, my intense amount of empathy is not something that everyone has. You know, all the qualities that I have are not embodied by everyone else. I am very much my own unique individual, and I have so much more to offer than a lot of people do. Like, I truly have found my worth in my voice, not just singing, but everything I have to say, everything I stand for. I just know deep in my soul, like, I am a good person and I am worthy of being here. And my time is valuable. I have all the potential in the world to grow and change things, not just for me, but for other people. Like with the very small following, I know you said I blew up, but like with a very like small following I have now, like I've helped so many people just kind of get through the day. And that means more to me than most things. And that again, like not to toot my own horn, but like that, I think that makes me such a good fucking person, like that makes me happier than anything is that I can bring joy and comfort to other people that I wouldn't have been able to give myself years ago. I've been saying this forever. I didn't have a me when I was younger to look up to. I didn't have anyone to talk to like me. I didn't see me in the media. I didn't have a big sister. I am the big sister. I'm the oldest of three. Um, I love my family. I love my family. I love my parents. Um, I didn't have the most emotional support growing up. I had a therapist since I was like 12, 13. So I had that going for me. Luckily, I had that available to me. But like, I grew up in New York City. I grew up in like, I Michael Cohen's daughter was in my grade. Trump's freaking lawyer was in my grade in school. Like these are the people I grew up around. I didn't quite fit in to say the least. I was always very nice and I was always alone in high school. I hid in the music department and I hated myself for it. But then I left New York. I love New York, but I left the bubble. I met so many different people who showed me how good I am, just how good of a person I am and how much I have to offer. There was a ton of external validation involved, but at the end of the day, no one can tell you, like no one can make you feel that, truly feel it if you don't believe it yourself. And I didn't really get that until I started feeling it. So it comes with time, experience, and truly seeing your value and what you bring and like what would the world be missing if you weren't here, you know? Also a lot of like witchy woo-woo stuff, like do your meditation, like really delve into, okay, so we're a bunch of meat sacks on a floating rock. What the hell does this all even mean? Why do we care so much? Like just big picture. I've been getting so in my head about these stupid fucking TikTok lives and I don't have enough people in there. The algorithm's shit, but then I'm like, oh wait. Oh wait, there's a lot more going on here. At the end of the day, how significant is this one TikTok live? Like by the end of my lifetime, I plan on reaching, millions and millions of people and helping them. It's just one TikTok live. Big picture. It's just TikTok live. It's just tax day. It's just, it's when you love yourself and when you see how much value you bring to yourself, to the people in your life, and to the world, things start to get a little less shitty. That's kind of the best way I can put it. So, highly recommend loving yourself. Takes a while. I still don't 100%. There are still days where I'm like, you dumb piece of shit. Who gave you life? Who said you were allowed here? Who let you on the internet? But like that's silly. At the end of the day, I do love myself. But there's always work to be done. Always.
Yeah, it's part of being human. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
part of being like emotional creatures. Like I saw something recently where it's like I think we're the only mammals that blush because we can recognize emotion and like other people's feelings.
Wow, I
You
didn't
know what
know
I mean?
that.
And like feel embarrassment. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
tigers don't feel embarrassment. You know what I mean? And like, it's weird. It's like being a human is weird, but it's also like really
It
beautiful.
is.
It's also
Hmm.
like a really cool experience. And I also don't think being weird is a bad thing. You know what I mean? Like I
No,
think like being
I
weird is
am
people need to embrace
thrilled
their
that I
weird.
did not fit in high school. Like, I hated that in high school. Literally made me want to kill myself in high school that I wasn't fitting in, but I am so happy I did not fit in. Fitting in is so boring. So boring, and I don't want to be normal.
Well, like if you look at some of the people right now who are reaching millions, which is where you're going to get to one day. We're going to manifest it. But I look at like Post Malone. I look at Lady Gaga. I didn't realize until recently like how horribly like teased she was. There was a Facebook page about her that with her real name where like people who knew her was like you suck. You will never make it. And I'm like, "Oh my God." Like that like I cannot imagine taking the time out of my day. And I've had bad days. Like my brother and I were talking about this earlier. Like we've all had moments where it's like sadly in those brief moments that somebody met you, you were at your worst. That's the only memory they have of you. And I'm like, damn, I wasn't as good of a man and a good of a person as I should have been on that day. But on my worst day, I've never created a Facebook page to like crap on somebody and tell them how much they suck. I've never commented on an artist page and been like, yo, this song stinks, dude. You should stop. And I've had my music snob moments as a metalhead, I could admit, when I'm open about this. Like when I first moved to Nashville, and I was like, country, da 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 da, you know what I mean? And then I started listening to artists like Chris Stapleton and most recently Steven Wilson Jr. Like I've become like the biggest Steven Wilson Jr. stan. His Son of Dad album is one of the best front to back listens I've heard in a few years, and I'm going to see him again. So it's like I guess the overall point I'm making is like if you look at the people who are really making things happen, and even historically, a band like Slipknot, like there was no there was no book that was going to say nine dudes from Iowa wearing masks, making loud, angry music. We're going to just take over music and metal, and they did. So it's a long way of me saying like it's sad but also beautiful when you look at the people in entertainment who have achieved things like Post Malone or Lady Gaga, and the fact that they were like outcasts, but they were always themselves, and that's how you get where you want to go, by being yourself, not by trying to mold and shift into something that you're not.
Oh, for sure. If you want an Ali Slater fun fact, so Gaga and I grew up in the same city. We went to the same sort of private schools and were both bullied by essentially the same people. So when I was in seventh grade, I think that's when Just Dance had come out, like in 2009. And the second I saw her, I fell in love with her and everything she was doing. Ninth grade me, when I was really starting to teach myself piano and music because my teacher had passed away. One of the first songs I taught myself was Speechless by Lady Gaga. I love her and everything she spoke, everything she sang, because I resonated with her and her story, and I still very much do. I adore her, and everything she has accomplished is what I want to do with my life. Maybe add a little more metal, but she is my absolute idol. I adore her. She truly saved me in middle and high school and has kept me going all these years. She's amazing. Um, when around then, around middle school, I was the new kid in eighth grade at that new school. Around that time, do you know what Form Spring is? Do you remember what Form Spring was? Oh boy, are you lucky. Um, we were all brainwashed into thinking, oh yeah, this was a really cool thing to do. So it's essentially a website where you can sign up, and it's kind of an anonymous Ask Me Anything where anyone could go in and submit things to you on your personal website. And it was like free bullying. It was like get away with bullying, essentially. Like I would get the nastiest messages sent to me. And it was my first year at this new school. I was like, oh God, it was horrible the messages I would get. And it was the cool thing to do. Everyone get a form spring. There was this Gossip Girl form spring. Because I grew up in New York City and Gossip Girl is based in New York City, so there was this real life Gossip Girl form spring. It said like AS spotted with JK, and I'm like, did I just make the Gossip Girl form spring? I'm not that important. Like who's it, growing up in New York City was crazy. But anyways, all of that to say, Lady Gaga has always been one of my inspirations because I feel that we grew up in very similar circumstances. And she saved me going through high
Lady
school.
Gaga, if you see this, you need to collab with Ali. So internet, TikTok,
Collab
do
with
your thing.
her. I will
I'm
like lick the dirt off your shoes if that's what you want.
I'm posting this short, and it everybody internet, do your thing, make it go viral. Lady
I love
Gaga,
her.
work with Ali.
Stephanie,
Do
please.
do a Lady Gaga remix with Round the Ring, because it would fit perfect.
Ooh. Yeah, I could do something with that. I'll do a Gaga song. I've always wanted to. Ooh, what Gaga song should I cover? Hmm. There's so many. Anyways, I forgot what I was gonna say.
She's an OG, man. Well, before we
Yes.
officially wrap it up, and thank you again so much, Ali. It's always awesome talking to you. I feel like we
Oh
could
my
shoot the breeze
God.
for like five
Forever.
hours, but I'm not gonna
Yeah.
not gonna do that to you. But off the dome, since we talked about music videos and we're talking about horror, and I know we've kind of geeked out a little bit about this before, but I don't know if I've asked you, are there any music videos in your noggin that still to this day you're like, dude, that was dope? And I remember the first time I saw it, and I think it's still cool. or visually artists who do
Ooh.
things with their visuals, with their music videos that you think are cool and want to give a shout out to. Not that you're trying to like take what they're doing, but just you're like that's like a really cool music video.
Oh my God, so many. So many. I mean, if we want to stay on the topic of Lady Gaga, her videos when she first came out were revolutionary to me at least. Like she started Just Dance was just a standard video, same with Poker Face. When Love Game came out, that was when she started kissing boys and girls, which was a huge deal. Oh my God, she just kissed a girl. And then when Telephone, well, I think it started with Paparazzi. And then it turned into Telephone. It started her series. It was like a music video series. It was a big story. It went from yes, I think it was Paparazzi. No, Telephone, I don't remember. Anyways, these giant movies within her music videos, and they were so iconic and so over the top, and all these costume changes, and they didn't make sense, but they did. Everything was just phenomenal. So if we want to go the Gaga route, we can go the Gaga route. She's amazing. God, who else? I think because we were just stuck on Gaga, all I can think about is Gaga. But who are my favorite artists anymore? I don't even know. I don't even know. It's so hard to keep track now. I think I touched on it a little bit in the last few months. I've hit like a pretty low point where everything's kind of foggy and cloudy and I don't even know what I love anymore. Like I'm trying to figure it out and music's been high key kind of boring me recently. I'm just like digging around trying to find something that inspires me and that I love to listen to and it's been so hard to find that. So I've just been kind of time capsuling it, and I would say Gaga's up there. Like when she did her performance, her concert in Brazil, that reawakened me. I texted my voice teacher. I'm like, "Did you see it?" She's like, "What?" I'm like, "Did you see the performance?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "I'm gonna do that." So it woke me up again. Everything she does, it's with so much intention. It is. Um, it's when artists work hard and are smart about what they do. They're not just like, oh, that was something cool that I did. You know, like, oh, I just liked it because the name was cool or like it looked cool. Like, if there's meaning behind it and a story and they have something to say, that is what inspires me. And it's not something that's as simple as love yourself. It's like they go through this crazy, elaborate storytelling way of telling you to love yourself, you know? That's what inspires me. Really creative people. And in that music video sense, I think Gaga did a really good job of all of that. She tells a story without telling a story.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Shout out Lady Gaga, man. She seems like she'd be like the coolest person too, man. She really seems like
Yeah.
I don't know, like I don't know what it's like to have that kind of
Deaf.
microscope on you like all the
Yeah.
time, you know, but also like also be able to rise above all the BS and the
Yeah.
negativity. Um that's the stuff that
Must be
actually
so
makes me
hard.
like angry is the people who take themselves out over bullying or cyberbullying. Like it's that's the stuff that makes my blood boil. It
Mm.
takes a lot to like put me over the edge, but that kind of stuff, there's just no need for like that mean girl, mean boy behavior, man. Like
Yeah.
it does so much damage to people and
It's
it's
also everywhere. And I think the people who are on the wrong side of that, who are like getting bullied, a lot of people, by saying simply it's everywhere and everyone gets bullied, like it lessens the blow of how painful it actually is dealing with those people, who it might be nothing to them to say something offhand and snide to someone. You know, it might just be nothing to them, but the effect on that person can be astronomical because, like you said, and I've said many times, you never really know what someone's going through. That could be it. That could be the thing that ends it for them. Um, I actually made this mistake the other night. It's so stupid. I was going through it. I was playing a video game. This is comical, and I apologized immediately. I just have a very blunt way of putting things sometimes. One of my viewers was in my chat and was like, "I've just learned on TikTok." I'm being dramatic, but this is how I read it in my head. I've learned through TikTok that you can't trust anyone and I'm not going to trust anyone and I'll push everyone away forever. And my knee-jerk response was, that's stupid. I'm like, I didn't mean to call you stupid. I'm sorry. Here's what I meant to say. I'm so sorry because like I understood that could have been so hurtful to someone. The like, oh, that's stupid. It's a really dumb thing to say. Because it's not that it was a dumb thing to say. It's just this person hadn't learned yet. Like they just need some development there. I don't know how old they are. I don't know what gender they. I literally know nothing about this username on the internet who just said one of the most ridiculous things ever to me. My initial response was, "Well, that's stupid." And then I explained, well, that's not a good thing for you to do. Don't just push people away because you never know who you're pushing away. Keep the good ones around or the ones who you think are the good ones. Always be cautiously optimistic because how are you going to invite good people into your life if you just continue to push everyone away? Which to me is very basic advice. Which is why my brain went, that's stupid. And I think about it every day. It's my new Roman Empire. I'm like, oh my God, I feel so bad. I called this viewer who watches me stupid, but it wasn't. It was just the sentiment. And so I think about how my words affect people a lot. And I think more than most people and more than I should. I'm just so cognizant and aware of how my actions could affect other people. And I punish myself a lot, which is something I need to work on. I punish myself a lot for existing, and I need to do better. But God, where were we even going with this? Oh yeah, bullying and mean girl behavior and all the stuff like that. It's too common. You never know what people are going through. And blanket statements like it's so common can make it worse for people too. So just know that like no matter how small the comment is, none of it's okay. It all has an impact and it's people are just going through shit and they should be nicer, but they're not. But they're not, and that's just the way the world is, unfortunately.
Is there anybody that you want to give a shout out to, even if you don't want to maybe use their full name? And I don't mean the bullies. I'm
For
going.
what?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah,
I'll
yeah.
tell you. All
Sorry,
right,
I'm
you want
sorry.
me to put him
No,
on
no, no,
blast? I
no,
will.
no. I'm
I'm
going a
kidding. I
different way.
wouldn't.
Sorry, I should have prefaced.
Okay.
Who are some good people that got you through, like people who have believed in you? I know we've mentioned your music teacher before. My apologies. His name is escaping me right now, but
Mr.
uh
Carbone, Joseph Carbone. Yeah.
Mr. Carbone, yeah, shout out Mr. Carbone.
I
But
have a
are
bunch of people that I'd love to just say their names out there because they mean the absolute world to me. My voice teacher, who I mentioned briefly, Rachel Lawrence, she's like my mom, my big sister slash mom out here, and she always has been. I started going to her when I was 14 in New York. And then we lost touch for years in the pandemic when people started dying. I'm like, okay, I'm ready to be a musician now. And I texted her and she took me under her wing again. And she's kept this train going. She believes in me more than I believe in myself. So Rachel Lawrence, for one of my best friends in the world, Marcus Grimmy. Um, he's been an absolute champion of mine. His sister, I'm sure the world knows, Christina Grimmie was his sister, and he toured with her, and she was one of the most incredible vocalists, I believe, of our generation. Um, and he knows he's worked with the Giants, and to know how much he believes in me and my talent and what I have to do pushes me every day. So I owe a lot of my drive and my motivation and my worth to Marcus Grimmy. So Rachel, Mark, Jonathan, LaMarche, who is my connection to Mark through Rachel. He's there. Those two are in a band called The Similar. They're actually right now together touring with The Living Tombstone. They're actually in the band. They're in the suits right now. They're on tour right now. So they're having a crazy summer right now. Um, but they're in a band called Similar. They're some of my favorite people in the world who got me my start out here in LA. And they're established musicians and have been musicians forever. And they were the first musicians I ever started really hanging out with who gave me that initial validation that I did need. And I owe a lot of everything I do to them. So I would say Mark, Jonathan, Rachel. God, who else? There are so many people. Daedra, my makeup and hair person who's on all these videos. She's one of my rocks. God, I love her. Zach, Astral Media, who does all the videos and has stuck with me through quite a bit, a lot of changes, he just rolls with the punches. He really does, and is makes himself available. He's wonderful at what he does. My newest producer, Eric Emery, he's the one who did My Villain, Round the Ring. He's doing the next songs for the foreseeable future. Um, the person who did the covers, Dan Swank from All Time Low, he's the one who produced the covers. I a lot of that to him. I have so many good people around me, and I really take for granted all of the good shit I have going on. Like when now that I'm talking about it and thinking about it, I've been in such a doom and gloom fight or flight headspace for the last 6 months. Taking a step back and breathing and thinking about all the amazing things I have going for me. It's nice. It's really nice. I do have a lot of good things going for me, a lot of good people in my life. So thank you for giving me that quick reality check. Those are my brief shout outs.
Hell yeah. Well, I'm glad we could shout out the people because there's always good people that help lift us up in like the worst of times, or like you said, when even when you have these good things going on, it's hard to get out of some certain headspaces sometimes. And it has been a
Mhm.
challenging year for you. So like you said, it's kind of finding that balance between like offering yourself grace, but also like being gracious for the good people that are lifting you up, and I try to do
Mhm.
that whenever like I find myself in those dark places of being like, man, I actually got it. Like there's a lot of good people. And it's not to like minimize the things that you've been through, but it's also just to go like that gratitude headspace is like such a cool place to be. So I'm glad we got to shout them out. Well, I'll get you out of here on this.
Yeah.
And thanks again so much, Allie, for your time.
Of course,
I
thank you
know
for
you're gonna
having me.
you're welcome. You're welcome back anytime. I mean, we could do this like whenever, man. Just let me
I
know.
know.
We
I'll
just,
let you know when the next one comes out. How about when the album's done? When everything's released and we can do. So we're at like kind of a halfway point now. So we've gotten the first half of the story. Maybe when the rest of the story's done, I'll come back and we'll talk about it.
well, to put a
Hmm.
button on this bad boy, anything given the summertime, and this is going to be probably August when people are listening. Is there anything that you can tease as far as second half of the year? I don't want to spoil anything that hasn't been rolled out yet, but
Oh
what
yeah.
coming in the
I'm hopeful that the rest of the songs get released by the end of the year. I'm I just finished up another song in the studio. I finished up doing all the vocals yesterday, 2 days ago. So I have another two in the chamber ready to go. It's just all about budgeting, music videos, because in this modern age of social media, you can't really release a song without a visual. And I hold myself to a certain standard where I'm not just gonna like film some garbage and then put it out with my song. I have standards. So I will make you all wait for a good product. That's kind of my mindset and enjoy what you have now, but there is more coming soon. Also, just on a personal note, I need to get my mental health in check. I need to get my body in check and my cycles in check so I can perform to the best of my ability and perform consistently. Because with the schedule I'm on now and with the chemicals that are happening right now in me, it's not conducive for success. So, I would say there has been a little delay in releasing stuff right now, but that's because I need to prioritize my health. But just know by the end of the year, I'm hoping to have everything released and done, and I'll hopefully be playing shows out here and maybe get on a tour soon enough. That's what we're hoping for if we fast track things. But again, life be lifing, and you never know.
I'm glad that you made time to do this genuinely. I know we've been
Yeah, of
messaging back and forth,
course.
and obviously from a distance, I just knew, about your dog and obviously the fires and stuff and everything that was going
Thank
on, and was
you.
thinking about you. So I'm sorry to hear that there's been more darkness, but at the same time,
It's
I'm
okay.
glad that you've been able to channel it with the music,
Thank you.
and
We'll
still
get a
do
whole
these
good album
still
out of
releasing.
this. We'll
Yeah,
get we'll
yeah.
get an album from these times. We'll get a song for Remy.
Well,
Song
thank you.
dedicated only to the doggo. There she is. She has to make the interview. There she is.
Shout out Remy. Shout out
Yeah, it's
Remy.
my baby. Yeah,
Hey man, animals are awesome, dude. Animals are
they
awesome.
are.
Shout out Remy,
Mhm.
shout out
Shout out
Charlie.
Remy. Shadow
Um,
Charlie.
well, Ali, again, it's always great talking with you. I
Yeah, of
genuinely appreciate
course.
what you're doing. It's that's what's been cool about doing this podcast is being able to connect with people like you out here doing your thing.
Yeah, and
And
you
doing
as
it
well.
for the art of it and trying to reach people in a positive way. So I
Yeah.
appreciate it. Normally, this is where I say like plug what you got to plug, but you got the Ali Slater in the
I know
background
we.
for the
Oh
audio
yeah,
listeners.
that's me.
They can't see it, but it's at Ali Slater official. Um,
Yeah.
any any other links that you want to plug? Any
Um, I mean, follow me on I'm a streamer now. I stream every day, multiple times a day. My times are 12:30 p.m. and 8:30 p.m. Pacific, or just catch me on the internet. Listen to my music. I do want to take some time to say thank you for what you do. I know I've said this a bunch when I've been on your show in the past, but thank you for what you do because, there are times as a small artist where you don't feel seen or heard or valued, and like your shit's not going to be picked up. But when, legitimate sources like yourself, like even if you are like on your way up there, you're kind of with me, you recognize that there is value in what I'm doing. So that means the world and more to me. So thank you for seeing the good in me and what I do and my music and admiring me for that, because I don't do enough of that for me. And again, like it shouldn't all just be external validation. Like I have the internal validation, but it is really nice and heartwarming to get that external validation as well. So thank you for seeing the good in me and what I'm doing and inviting me on here and giving me a platform as well. So thank you. Thank you for everything you do.
you're welcome, and right back at you. I appreciate what you're doing. Again, like you said, it's not about external validation, but it's nice to know that
Yeah,
people
it helps.
want to come back on. So you're
Yeah,
welcome. You're welcome back anytime, Ali. And I
thank
appreciate the
you.
kind words. And I'm gonna be manifesting that Lady Gaga collab. So Lady Gaga, if you
Listen,
see this,
just let's start with like a million streams on my songs first. Let's do baby steps. Let's just get those streams up. Let's get that bag up. And you know what, Gaga, you can happen tomorrow. Let's have the streams up today. I'll see you tomorrow.
Alrighty, dighty, there you have it. That was my conversation with Ali Slater. Make sure you go follow Ali on Instagram at Ali Slater Official, and that is spelled Slater. And also follow her on TikTok at Ali Slater Official. That one is just spelled with an 8. So SL8, the number 8R. Ali Slater Official. The links to all of her stuff will be in the podcast description for this episode. So just scroll down to the bottom of that podcast description, hit those links, and go follow and support Ali. You will not be disappointed if you are a fan of pop punk and emo as far as her music is concerned, and as far as her streaming is concerned on TikTok and gaming. She's very into that realm as well. So if you're a gamer, you will be very entertained by her streams as well when she does her live streams, man. But I just want to say directly to Ali, Ali, thank you so much for taking the time to join me again on the podcast, making your third appearance, and for going into depth about this journey with the Aliverse and these releases that you've been putting out since last October, how it's all connected with the music videos and the lyrics, and your own personal journey with mental health. I think it's really awesome that you have this outlet with your music and your voice to be able to connect with people in a positive way and explore these parts of yourself in a positive way, and to talk about it with me and the listeners on this podcast, because I do think it's important. And I, as a preface, and I know I preface a lot for Ali and the listeners, I don't mean this in a self-righteous look at me way at all, because that is so not my vibe. But I do think it's important to talk about mental health, because I really believe that there'd be a lot of people who would still be walking planet Earth if they felt like they had a voice to be able to express how they really felt without judgment, or without fear. And so again, I don't mean that in a self-righteous way, but I think it's really awesome that Ali, both with me and in her music and on her platforms, that she is open and discussing, her experiences with her own mental health and being bipolar 2. Like I said, this year and what she talked about on this conversation, I caught her at a time when, she was going through some changes with the medication that she was on and how that was affecting her, and in combination with losing her pet dog and going through just kind of the chaos of the fires in the Los Angeles area out in California earlier this year. So this is something that we've been trying to make happen, really since like the beginning of the year. And she's battled through a lot, and she's a trooper, and she's a fighter, and she's awesome, and she's got a heck of a voice. And I'm not just saying that because she was kind enough to return to the show to discuss it with myself and all of you, but it's not lost on me the time that we got to catch up. So thank you so much, Ali. Hang in there. I know there's a bit of a rough patch right now, but it does get better. And you've got a lot to say, and you've got a lot more to say, and there's a lot of people who are very interested in that, including myself. So keep doing your thing and keep being you. And I look forward to more music and more conversations with you in the future. Thank you so much for taking the time to come back on the show. You're welcome anytime. And to all of you who listened and made it all the way to the end, thank you as well. If Ali brought you here and you're brand new to the pirate ship, once again, like I said at the jump, you can follow me at March 4th Pod pretty much on everything. On TikTok, I think it's March 4th Podcast, but my username is March 4th Pod. I'm trying to get those aligned. But if you look up March 4th Pod, you'll find me. My link tree is in the podcast description for this episode. And even though I hate begging for this stuff, the reality is to get more people to hear this every time that you guys like, subscribe, share, tell a friend to tell a friend, leave a rating and a review on whatever streaming service you're listening to this episode on. All of those things do go a long way in helping this show rank higher in the algorithm on those platforms and pushing this out to more people. And ultimately, that's what I want. I want to put more people on to awesome creators like Ali, who's making dope music and doing entertaining live streams for people and exploring and being open about their mental health journeys. Because again, I think there'd be a lot of people who'd still be there if they felt like they had a safe place and space to be able to discuss those things without judgment. So if you would be so kind, if you did enjoy the show, if you subscribe, you get to access the back catalog of the podcast. It guarantees you won't miss a future episode. And I try to vary the genres on here for musical guests. I also have guests outside of the musical space with the theme of the show as well, in terms of mental health and perseverance. And so, yeah, all those things go a long way in helping the show get out to more people. So if you liked what you heard, please like, subscribe, and share. And it'll get this out to more people. So that's going to be a wrap on this week's episode. Everybody, stay tough, hang in there, don't quit on yourself, don't quit on your dreams. Like I said at the jump, it gets better. Eddie Vedder said in Release, one of my favorite Pearl Jam songs of all time, I'll ride the waves where it takes me. And the older I've gotten, I feel like I understand the meaning of that better, man. There's always going to be ebbs and flows in life. Sometimes there's going to be calmer waters. Sometimes there's going to be rougher seas that you have to go through. But you are loved. You are worthy. You are worth it. Do not quit. Keep the faith and be kind to one another and be kind to yourselves. Courtesy of Ali, here is her single, Round the Ring. Peace.
Pretty sure